Good day, Nigerians. Welcome once again to your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me in the studio Comrade Tumba Gbenga Sholoki, the Executive Director of KAIDOF, Campaign Against Impunity and Domestic Violence. Comrade Sholoki, you are welcome to the conversation today.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Nelson.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah. On this edition of the program, like we all know, the conversation is a topical issues program in which we analyze the developments in the polity. And in the last couple of days, the issue on the front burner within the Nigeria polity is the Endbadgovernance Protest by a group that the authorities have described as unknown and faceless. And one was aware that as early as July thereabout, we started hearing rumors via the social media that there's going to be a protest by a group that the protest will last for days. And we were asking, because myself and Comrade Gbenga Sholoki right here in the studio, we are both, that is our constituency, civil rights movement. And we, unlike how we used to know, that when we want to go on a protest, we make ourselves available, we make ourselves known, we make our demands public. These are why we want to go on a protest. For this one, just like the 2020 NSAS, it was done behind the scene. And even when the authorities were calling for dialogue, just like they said in 2020 during the NSAS, where they said they didn't have a leader, that they don't trust anybody, and you want to lead the people, and there's no trust, So these 2024 protests also wore that face. And I must remind our viewers that before then, the Department of State Services warned Nigerians and alerted that this protest is with a sinister motive. And even the police came out and confirmed that. In the last couple of days, you have seen the sinister motive unveil itself before our very eyes, where they are flying Russian national flag within the territory of Nigeria, looting. In fact, when the protest wanted to start, Comrade Sholoki, I said, unlike our tradition, you claim you are fighting hunger in the interest of the people. You want to bring it to the attention of the government. But you saw the languages. We shut down Lagos. We shut down Nigeria. Regime change. Tinubu must go. You saw an avalanche of demand. In fact, when people tell me the president should respond to that, I say, which of the demands? I saw 1,001 demands.
Well, it's really unfortunate that we'll take activism, in quotes, to this level that we have it today. I must say that I was really embarrassed by the number of people who listen. I mean, who purportedly led the protest, in the sense that I will call the movement directionless. Directionless in the fact that, number one, in our tradition, the first thing is to give government notice of our intention to hit the streets.
Yes.
With our demands. If government calls for dialogue, we go into dialogue and negotiate, which was what Labour did. And you could see that Labour got what he wanted. I was there to say that nobody will accede to 250,000 naira minimum wage. Today, we have 70,000 naira, which was fantastic.
Yeah, acceptable by all.
By all. You understand? So I saw that these people had sinister motives. So that was why some of us pulled out of the thing. I said, we are not saying you don't have a right to protest. Every Nigerian, you have a right to say, well, what you are doing, Mr. Governor, is not good. Mr. President, yes,
I don't agree with
yes,
it.
there is hunger in the land, no doubt.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it is not restricted to Nigeria alone. You could see what is happening in Great Britain. Bangladesh, you could see them. So we are saying that, look, whatever we're going to do must be altruistic in its entirety. You must be patriotic in what you are doing. Yes. Not that with a sinister motive, because like you rightly pointed out, in the first day you saw so many languages that could not be. I mean, if you say you are fighting hunger, is it a fragile economy like ours that you want to shut down for 10 days? Who does that? How do you want to artisans who earn their living daily?
Yeah.
How do you want to survive?
Yeah.
or those who, or those transporters whose resources are gained daily to cope with a 10-day strike or protest, or even during the June 12 debacle, there was no time that we had 10 days at a stretch.
At a stretch.
No.
We always had a break to allow people recoup. And even Sholoki, don't forget, during the June 12 protests for the actualization of that popular mandate, what we usually do is that our protest is from morning till about 12.
Yes,
we cut it so that our people will know our people have to leave.
Yes, and do some other things.
Yes, they have to earn a livelihood.
Yes. So
it wasn't that we're going to shut down
10 days.
10 days, and you claim you want to agitate for hunger. The same people you are. Do you know that on day one, most shops, banks were shut because people were afraid, because they were threatening violence.
Yes, even aside that one, the experience of 2020 is still very much with our people.
Yes.
So they were scared because I went around, some parts of Lagos that day, and I could see people, shops and businesses shut down.
Yeah.
You understand? But on the second day, when the Nigerians could see that
the state could provide security,
and the state provided security
they say,
look, you have a right to protest.
Yeah.
And the court of competent jurisdiction has ruled that, look, go and do your protest so place, no problem.
Yes.
Go there, go and do it. Some of us who want to do our businesses, we will go about our lawful businesses without molestation or harassment. And that was what happened. And you could see that on the third day, the protest became so unpopular.
No, from day one, the protest was unpopular.
And Nigerians said, no,
we are not
if you don't have cogent cogent demand. Even Governor of Lagos said, okay, let's dialogue. You said you are not dialoguing. You just want to shut down Lagos. Why Lagos every time? You understand? Then the issue of Russian flag came up. It presupposes that some people are hidden behind the scene to also sponsor these guys to ensure that there's a regime change.
It was a political protest.
And moreover, from what we have heard from what I've seen so far, from some of the participants in this you see that they are agents of candidates who lost election last year.
Yeah.
And we're saying that, no, Nigerians have rejected you in 2023. You have a right to come 2027 again to test your popularity. Yes. Not by this
insurrection, by treason.
By treasonable fellow. No. Look, you have a right to protest. And there's no absolute right anywhere.
No way.
No absolute right. So when people are talking about rights.
No, you know what I even tell people when people say, I have a right to protest. I say, so because you have a right to can you come and protest inside my bedroom?
I cannot go out because I'm protesting.
Because you are protesting. Where your right stops is where mine begins.
Yes.
So, and even as at that, to even confirm that no right is absolute, under the laws anywhere in the world, where you want to exercise your rights, and your right is a threat to public peace, the security agencies have a right to abort. Because they can't allow, because you want to exercise your right to put everybody in danger.
There's no absolute right anywhere.
Anywhere.
Look, I was going through an online, I was something online this morning, and somebody wrote, scared about, why would they bother about the strike? Protest. That those, he mentioned one foundation abroad who is funding some of these agents of destabilization. I mentioned some news outlets that they have to write their story from negative angle to be able to enjoy funding from that place. So you will see that
development partners.
Yes, you will see so many interests at play.
They are local and international interests.
Conspiracies. You know, look at Mr. President. Mr. President started with some policies. Nigerians could see that truly this man is genuine, this man is sincere. And Nigerians say, okay, somebody won election last year. You could not even allow him a mid of his term before we started.
We said regime change. Is it the president should go
or what?
Or the governor? Because
the constitution is very clear about the term of a president or a governor.
And the means through which he could be removed from office. It's only through an impeachment by the assembly, by the legislature. Yes. So I don't. You see, when just like 2020, I will say it with all emphasis. The EndSARS protest was a genuine grievance. But when they started, we saw the political undertone.
Yeah.
The same thing has happened now in 2024, after a general election of 2020. I can assure you, if these people lose again, you know they lost in 2019,
yes.
they lost in 2023, you can be rest assured that if they lose in 2023, we should expect something like this in 2028 if they lose in 2027. Because it has become their tradition that if they lose election, that Nigeria must not know peace. But we thank our security agencies for the marvelous work they have done. We saw the challenges they have faced in some parts of the country. We saw people push out underage, which was an abuse.
Let me
it's an abuse. If you see some of those children, they're about 6 years old, 7 years old. How can you put those children on the streets?
Look at the one-time looting that greeted the protest in Kano and Kaduna. Katsina. You could see the one-time looting of government properties.
Is it government properties alone?
No,
private.
Even private. Look at those children that were rolled out to go out. Look, they don't even understand what they were doing. Okay,
they just took advantage of those kids.
No sense of those kids. Okay, look at. I saw one carrying the signpost of a police station, of a division of police. What do you want to do with such?
And
so you can see that they are bereft of what was happening at that point in time.
No, it is part of the sinister agenda that DSS alerted Nigerians. And also, Comrade Gbenga, the irony of it all is that when we go on protests, I've said it on several media stations, we carry placards and megaphone.
Yes.
In this case, we saw protesters holding arrows, sticks, cutlass. To do what? Is that a peaceful protest?
You could see the debate, the situation that happened that I really wept. A man was completely naked, and such a person is categorized as a protester. Completely naked.
And so, they will come and tell you, oh, it was the hoodlums. And I ask, do they write hoodlum or protester on anybody's face? Or do you give protesters ID card?
Even one of our friends was even the one that was ushering the naked guy passage. We have never had so bad that we will get to this level that we don't even know they don't even know what they are doing.
Yes.
Except, like you rightly said, what they are trying to do is to create anarchy. But I want to, like you said, we must commend our security forces.
We must commend our government.
Yes, even at the point of provocation.
Yes.
Because I witnessed that of Lagos under the bridge in Ikeja on their way to Alausa. I could see them maintaining peace, trying to why they were being provoked. Yes,
to protect them.
Yes,
from whatever.
Yes, and trying to ensure that nobody does otherwise. Yes. So that they were guiding them.
They were guided yes.
until they get to Ojota, and they will provide security.
Yes.
Same thing we witnessed in Abuja until in the afternoon of that very day, when from nowhere
Abuja anarchists, because I won't call them protesters.
No,
they went to the streets and they were looting, destroying people's cars, snatching phones, snatching bags, and you expect a government to fold his hand and watch you unleash mayhem. A government that has a mandate to secure life and property. Tomorrow morning you wake up and say the government has failed to perform its primary responsibility. No. It's unacceptable.
No.
I think we commend the security agencies for the marvelous work they have done, all of them, and we urge them to ensure that these perpetrators of this violence are brought to book.
Yeah.
We must not allow this to go like the NSAS, where people went and looted, raped women, burnt public and private properties, as well as, snuffed out innocent lives of civilians and military personnel. We owe that responsibility to serve as a warning. And also, importantly, before we go, Comrade, I think there is a need for the National Orientation Agency as well as the Ministry of Information at the federal level, at the states, at the local government, to begin a sensitization and education of the rights of Nigerians. People must realize that the right to protest.
No, that's not absolute right. That's
it's not that. It's not about absolute. You see, I saw a situation in Plateau State where the protesters and their people were threatening traders and market people that if they don't join us, we'll invade your market, we'll invade your shop. So I think we owe it a responsibility. And a lot of people were afraid and they locked their shop. Ordinarily, one would have expected them to have formed a vigilante and say, look, so long as I'm not coming to your protest to disturb you, you can't come and disturb my own business. Do your protest, let me do my business. I think it is important for the agencies of state saddled with information dissemination to begin an advocacy on the right to protest, the do's and don'ts.
No, I think aside the government machineries, I think some of our NGOs must also get involved in this education because it is not just to leave it to government alone. It's our responsibility to also say, no.
It's a collective responsibility.
Yes, no, you have rights. But those who are not participating are also with rights.
Yes,
so your right to not trample upon theirs. Why theirs will not also trample on yours. So let us tread softly. Let us go pari passu. Let us work together.
We must respect the laws of the land.
Before we go on this matter, I think you have made very valid points. Politicians should not be made to come and plead for the release of those who have been arrested.
If you have been arrested for a crime, no politician should plead for you.
Let those who have been arrested face the law of the land, because there's no way you allow anarchy to just go. People's properties are destroyed. People are killed.
And somebody is telling me, oh, it was hoodlums. Who provided the platform?
The template.
The template. And how do I know a hoodlum from a non-hoodlum? Do hoodlums have ID card or they write it on their forehead?
Oh.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. So these are all members of the protest gang.
Yes.
And what if they have committed any breach of the laws of the land? I implore the authorities to make sure they face the full wrath of the law. It's as simple as that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the protest is on day 7 today, and we are sure that the security agencies are still on top of the situation. We don't know the situation in those very minute number of states that the protest that is deceptively called protest against hunger, but rather is a protest of anarchy, is a protest of treasonable felony. I hope the authorities will do the needful in ensuring that those who have come out to protest genuinely are given the necessary protection to exercise that freedom. But in the exercise of that freedom, they must recognize that it has to be done within the ambit of the law. This is where we want to call it a wrap on this first stanza of the program. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation coming to you from TV 360. We'll be right back.